One person, a laptop, and a software business that genuinely makes money. In 2026, that is a normal thing. Pieter Levels runs a small portfolio of apps that pulls in around $3 million a year. His team, nobody, just him. And Sam Altman says his group chat of tech CEOs runs a betting pool. Which year do we get the first one-person billion-dollar company? This video is about the thing that makes that possible. The modern developer stack for a solo founder built layer by layer. So what actually changed? A decade ago, shipping software meant a team. Servers, an ops person, a backend crew, and months of work. Now that whole team collapsed into a handful of services you rent by the month, plus an AI that writes the first draft of the code. Take just the coding part. Cursor, an AI editor, went from zero to $1 billion a year in revenue in under 12 months. That is the fastest any software company in history has reached $500 million in revenue. The demand for this is very real. For a solo founder, an AI coding tool is the new keyboard. You describe the change in words, it writes the actual code. So let me build the entire stack with you, layer by layer, with the real tools and the real prices. Then the part nobody mentions. Here is the shape of the whole thing. 7 layers, and together they are the entire company. Where you write the code, the framework you write it in, where it runs, where the data lives, how people log in, how you get paid, and how it emails them. We will walk every single one. Layer 1 is the code itself, and this is where the biggest change is hiding. 2 tools own the space right now. Cursor, which wraps an editor you already know, and Claude Code, which lives down in your terminal. You describe a change in plain English, and it edits files across the entire project, runs the tests, and fixes its own mistakes as it goes. And look at what that costs you. $20 a month gets a solo founder a serious daily coding partner. Around $100 to $200 a month gives you the strongest models running close to non-stop. Set that next to a junior engineer salary, and you can suddenly see why one person is able to do the work of a small team. Layer 2 is the framework, the skeleton your app hangs on. For most solo founders in 2026, that is Next.js, built on top of React. The clever part is that one single codebase holds your pages, your buttons, and your server logic together. You are not maintaining a separate front-end and back-end that constantly have to agree with each other. It is one thing. And the part people can actually see? Most solo founders are not designers, so they lean on a styling kit. Tailwind turns design into small utility classes right there in the markup, and Shadcn drops in ready-made buttons, forms, and dialogues that you own and can edit. You can even have a tool like V0 generate a first draft of the whole screen from one sentence. Layer 3 is where it actually runs, and this used to be the genuinely terrifying part: renting a server, configuring it by hand, praying it stayed up overnight. Now you point Vercel, or Railway, or Fly at your code, and it takes the whole job over. There is no machine left for you to log into and babysit at midnight. That entire role is gone. The deploy loop is this short, and it stays out of your way. You save your code to GitHub. That automatically kicks off a build. And about a minute later, the new version is live on the real internet with a proper web address and a padlock in the browser bar. You did not touch a server even once to make that happen. Layer 4 is the data. Your users, their posts, their orders, everything that has to survive a page refresh. 2 names dominate here. Supabase hands you a full Postgres database with logins, file storage, and live updates already bolted on. Neon gives you pure, serverless Postgres that scales down to 0 the moment the traffic stops, so an idle app costs you nothing. And this layer is suddenly serious money. Databricks bought Neon in May of last year for roughly $1 billion. Just sit with that for a second. The database plumbing a solo founder rents for free on a random Tuesday is the exact thing that giant companies are paying $1 billion to own. Layer 5 is letting people log in, and you truly do not build this by hand anymore. Clerk gives you sign up, passwords, Google and GitHub login, and that little profile menu in the corner, free up to 50,000 users. If you would rather own the whole thing yourself, Better Auth is the open source version that runs directly on your own database. Layer 6 is the one that turns a project into a business, getting paid. Stripe is the default and has been for years. A few lines of code, and you can charge a card, run a monthly subscription, start a free trial, and hand the customer a real receipt. This is the single layer that pays for all of the others, but there is a trap in payments that nobody warns a first-timer about. The moment you sell to people in other countries, you owe sales tax in each of them, and the rules are a genuine swamp. So Stripe bought Squeezy, a service that becomes the official seller of record and just absorbs that entire tax mess for you. You sell, They handle the paperwork. One small piece ties the rest together. Email. Every app has to send them a welcome note, a password reset, a payment receipt. Resend does that one job cleanly, from a few lines of code, without any of the old pain of running your own mail server. Boring, essential, and now completely handled for you. Now step back and look at the finished company. Code, framework, hosting, database, login, payments, email. 7 boxes on a screen. And here is the quiet magic in all of it. Every single one of those boxes is a service you rent by the month, not a system that you have to build, run, and repair yourself. So add up the starting bill. It rounds to 0. Every layer here has a free tier generous enough to carry you until you have real, paying users. In a lot of cases, your first customer shows up and pays you before you have handed a single one of these services a cent. Your risk to start is basically just your time, which is exactly why the timeline collapsed. An idea you have on a Friday night can be a working, paying product by Sunday. Not a rough prototype in a slide deck, an actual thing live on the internet with a login screen and a checkout button that charges real money to a real card. And when a stranger finally uses it, watch the layers cooperate. Their click hits your Next.js code. Clerk confirms who they are. Supabase reads their data. Stripe charges the card. Resend fires off the receipt. All of that in under a second, and all you actually wrote was the thin layer of glue holding those services together. That glue is your product. Now a reality check that is going to annoy the tool obsessives. Remember Pieter Levels, the guy pulling in around 3 million a year on his own? His stack is almost aggressively old-fashioned. Plain PHP, some jQuery, a single tiny SQLite file that a lot of engineers would sneer at as a toy database. No trendy framework anywhere in sight. And there's a whole culture around this now. Mark Liu, another solo founder, sells a starter kit that pre-bundles the boring layers, payments, login, and email into one download, and has used it to launch dozens of tiny products, a few of them profitable within days. The stack is not just cheap, it now arrives pre-assembled. Their point lands hard. The stack does not make the money, shipping does. The most beautiful, modern tooling on earth will not save a product that nobody actually wants. Pick boring tools you already understand, get the thing in front of real humans fast, and let the market tell you whether you are right, which loops us straight back to Altman's bet. For the first time in history, one determined person can genuinely hold every layer of a real company inside their own head. Design it, build it, ship it, bill for it, and support it, completely alone. That is the exact thing his group chat is wagering on. But here is the part the breathless hype conveniently skips. A stack this cheap and this fast does not make the hard parts of a business disappear. It just relocates them to the places that no tool can reach, and there are far more of those places than a slick demo will ever show you. Your app falls over at 3 in the morning, and there is no on-call rotation to page. There is only you, half asleep, squinting at logs. 100 happy customers also means 100 support emails, a pile of refund requests, and a fresh stack of weird edge cases, and every one of those is also, still, only you. One reader put it perfectly right underneath Altman's prediction. Maybe we do not actually get a one-person billion-dollar company. Maybe what we really get is one-person burnout. The bottleneck stopped being the code a long time ago. Now the bottleneck is the single human being holding all 7 layers up at once, and the AI does not rescue you here either. It will happily write any feature you can describe, in seconds flat. What it will not do is tell you whether that feature is any good or whether you should have built it at all. Taste, judgment, and knowing what is even worth making are still entirely stubbornly yours. The real wall is the oldest one in all of business, and no service sells it to you. Distribution. Anyone can build the app now, in a weekend, for basically free. Getting one actual stranger to find it, trust it, pull out a card, and pay, that is the one part the stack has never once shipped in the box. So here is the honest verdict. The modern stack made the building part almost free, and that is precisely why building is no longer the moat. The tools are a commodity that every one of your competitors also shares. What is left, the only durable edge, is your taste and your audience, and those two things, conveniently, are the only parts you cannot download. The stack is a solved problem. The hard, interesting part was always going to be you. So pick your tools, close this video, and go ship something real. Cloud Codes. Follow for more.